Welcome to the Nourished Child Podcast, a show about childhood nutrition, feeding kids, and dealing with the ups and downs of growing a healthy child. Here's your host, registered dietitian and childhood nutrition expert, Jill Castle.
I'm Jill, the host of The Nourished Child. Let me ask you something. Do you wonder if your child is getting all the nutrition they need? Or do you feel unsure about what's going on with your child and their eating? Feeding kids is H-A-R-D hard. I've raised 4 of my own children, and as a pediatric dietitian who works with kids and families, I know the job of nourishing and nurturing our children is a big one, full of emotional swings, frustrations, and worries. That's why I created thenourishedchild.com, the ultimate parent resource for children's nutrition and feeding. There, you will find free articles, e-guides, and programs to help you better understand your child, food, your own feeding, and their eating. Check out The Nourished Child today. Head to thenourishedchild.com. And now for the show. Hey friends, welcome back to the Nourished Child Podcast. Jill here, and today I am talking about hunger in children. And I am going to help you figure out whether your child's hunger is physical hunger or what we call biological hunger, which is based in the appetite hormone cycle, versus whether your child's thinking that they're hungry, or what I like to call head hunger. So I'm differentiating the two of those, and I'm providing you a triage system for being able to determine when your child is asking you for extra snacks or complaining or whining that they're hungry. What can you think through to help you really discern what's going on with your child? Are they really hungry, or are they thinking they're hungry? And a key question that you can ask in the moment and watch your child's response, which will give you a very good clue as to what's going on. I hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you on the flip side. All right. Today we are talking about true hunger and how to help you recognize true hunger in your child, especially if they're asking for food around the clock or constantly in the cabinets looking to eat. How do you know if they're really hungry or not? So let's go over the basics of physical hunger, or what you might refer to as true hunger. I like to say physical hunger because it is a biological process that's happening in the body. And for us to really think this through, I want you to remember that we all need to eat in order for our bodies to function well. So yes, the phrase that says, we eat to live, we do. If we don't eat, we don't live well. So when to eat and how much to eat is regulated by a complex system of appetite hormones, nutrients, and genetic traits that prompt eating. So this biological system makes sure your child gets enough nutrients, enough nutrition so they can grow and develop well. Here's how it plays out. So follow me along here. Hunger is prompted by a hormone called ghrelin. Ghrelin is in your tummy. When your child's belly is empty, this hormone tells the brain it's time to eat. The physical or true signs of hunger include things like a growling tummy, a headache, a child who feels tired or who gets grumpy or is impatient. They can be mean. They can be whiny. These symptoms of hunger can vary from child to child, but if you're a parent of a child, you probably have a pretty good clue about when your child is showing true signs of physical hunger. When your child feels these symptoms, they will want to eat. As they eat a meal or a snack, their belly starts to fill up. As this is happening, a different hormone called leptin signals to the brain that the belly is filling up, and finally it's full, or it has enough food in there that it triggers your child to stop eating. So remember, ghrelin makes your child hungry, or is that appetite hormone that signals hunger. And leptin is the appetite signal that cues fullness. So this cycle of hunger, eat, fullness, it happens repeatedly throughout the day. For the child, this will happen about every 3 to 4 hours. This is why I always recommend scheduling meals and snacks in intervals of 3 to 4 hours for children, because it mimics this cycle of hunger, eat, fullness. So every 3 to 4 hours when we're having meals and snacks, kids are coming to the table with real physical signs of hunger. Now, what if your child has a meal or a snack and within an hour they're coming to you and saying, "Mom, I'm hungry. I want to have a snack." But what's going on in this scenario? Well, first, let me just get this straight. Your child will not be truly hungry if they've just had a meal or a snack. They will not have that biological or physical hunger that I just described. It's not physiologically possible. So when the belly is full and has food in it, the hunger hormones don't fire off. So there is a chance, however, for children to experience early hunger when they don't eat enough at mealtime or they don't eat foods that contain filling nutrients like protein and fiber. You can easily figure this out by looking at the blend and the balance and the timing of when your child ate last. When a child says they are hungry and they have just eaten, I refer to this as head hunger. It's when the child thinks they're hungry, but they're not physically hungry. So there are a few things that can be going on in this situation. Number one, boredom. So lots of kids who are bored will turn to food. Boredom eating can lead to obviously unhealthy eating habits, and it can also lead to mindless eating. So eating too much or not paying attention to what and how much you are eating. So boredom eating, I would say, is probably the most common reason that children say they are hungry when they're not physically hungry. So it's the most common reason for non-physical hunger and the eating that goes on around that. Emotional eating is the second type of hunger that does not reflect biological hunger, but it reflects head hunger. So emotional eatings are when some kids will eat in response to uncomfortable emotions, like loneliness or sadness or anger. Food can provide comfort in those situations, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it can become a habit that over time can become unhealthy. So when your child is turning to food to soothe or calm themselves, this is when emotional eating can really take hold and become more of a habit. And then in that situation, it's not healthy. The third reason why kids may think that they're hungry is because they are more food responsive. Food responsiveness is a genetic trait or tendency, and it's showcased by being more interested in food or being more prompted by the food cues or the sensory characteristics like taste or smell or appearance that food provides children. Even if your child has had an enjoyable memory of eating a particular food, that can trigger more of a responsiveness to that food when they encounter it again. Kids who are food responsive really do like to eat. They're interested in food. They're interested in everything about food, eating it, talking about it, preparing it, cooking it, planning in the future for eating. And when children are food responsive, they can be more vulnerable to environments where there is a lot of food around. So like parties and holidays. And in those environments or situations, sometimes children don't have good self-control over what they choose to eat and how much they eat. So you might be wondering, why does it matter? Why do we need to differentiate between physical hunger and head hunger? Well, we all, or I, and most of us want our kids to be more intuitive and mindful with their eating, paying attention to their internal signals of hunger and fullness will help all children be able to better self-regulate their eating, how much they eat, and what they eat. I have a free download for you if you'd like to get access to it. And it's a download that will help you build more appetite awareness in your child. It's called Appetite Awareness at Any Age, Steps to Improve Recognition and Regulation of Appetite. And you can get this download for free by clicking the link below in the description for this episode. So, how do we recognize true hunger in kids? And how can you sort of use a triage system for recognizing this in your own child? How can you differentiate between true hunger and head hunger? So let's try this. It's a 3-step triage type situation where you are going to think of these 3 things. Number 1, when did your child eat last? If your child ate less than 3 hours ago, it is probably not true physical or biological hunger. If your child ate more than 3 hours ago, it probably is real hunger. And you'll want to offer the next meal or the next snack. Or if that's a way off, you might ask, would you like a piece of fruit to tide you over? Secondly, you want to think about what your child actually ate at snack time or at mealtime. If they had a good meal or snack with nutritious foods that are filling and satisfying, it's probably not true hunger. But if they picked at their meal or they filled up on minimally nutritious foods, then they may be really hungry. They just didn't get the nutrition that they really needed to keep them satisfied for that 3-hour block of time. So what do? Do you offer a nutritious snack or do you make them wait until the next scheduled snack or meal? It is up to you. You are right now presented with a teachable moment for your child. When kids have to wait, they often will learn that they need to eat when you serve meals and snacks. On the other hand, if you rescue the child who ate poorly, didn't eat very well at lunchtime or their snack time, and you decide, well, they didn't eat well, so let's go ahead and go forward with a snack. When you do this, you're rescuing them. I often call it rescue with a snack. They may learn that if they graze or they whine for snacks, that this will work. And this can become a habit. So you really have to decide which path you want to take. There's no right or wrong answer. It might be that you take one path one time and you say, oh, this is not going to work for me to rescue my kids. So next time I'm going to make them wait and own their decisions. So I often said this to my own children. You have to own your decision. You decided not to eat anything at lunch. You picked at your sandwich. You didn't really have much of a lunch. You have to own that decision. So we're going to wait until our snack at 3:00. I know it's not comfortable, but every time you make a decision, there are consequences, and this is the consequence. We're going to stay on our structure. You're going to have to wait, but maybe next time you'll make a different decision. So if your child keeps badgering you, this is the third little tip. If they keep coming to you and saying they're hungry, they want something to eat and they're really badgering you about another snack, you can always say, "Would you like an apple?" This is a great way to discern whether your child is really hungry or just thinks they're hungry. So you basically throw a question at them. Would you like an apple? If they say yes, an apple sounds great, then you know that they are probably hungry, truly hungry. If they say, "I don't want an apple, I want a granola bar," then you know that they are not truly hungry, that the hunger that they are experiencing is head hunger, or that hungry feeling that they think is hunger, but it's not really hunger. So that is a great question to just throw back at your child. Would you like an apple? And if they pitch a fit, then it's probably not true hunger that they are experiencing. So again, if you'd like to help your child do a better job at recognizing their appetite cues and the real signs of true hunger, I invite you to subscribe to my download, Appetite Awareness, free PDF, and that will guide you, no matter what age your child is, from infancy all the way up through adolescence, how to help them build that awareness of those inner signals in their body, that intuitiveness, which we all like to call intuitive eating, that intuition of what does my body need right now in the moment? Am I hungry? Am I thinking I'm hungry? If I'm thinking I'm hungry, what does that really mean? Am I bored? Am I sad? So we want kids to start thinking about this and really eat for hunger most of the time. It's okay to eat for emotional reasons occasionally. It's okay to eat out of boredom occasionally. Food can fill a role in those situations. It's when those behaviors become habitualized that we can start to run into trouble with eating regulation. That's it for today, folks. I hope you found this helpful. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Nourished Child Podcast, where the #1 goal is to help you grow a nourished child inside and out.